afternoon, everybody. It's been a long day, but we're here, almost down to the wire. Thank you so much for your attendance today. I think we have some new individuals joining us for the Governmental Relations Advisory Committee. So thank you for showing an interest by being here today, and thank you to those who are returning. You will receive a lot of information from our district leaders, some that's very key, that show our commitment to high performance, and we thank you for showing an interest to support us in our commitment to high performance. We're going to deviate. I know you received an agenda today, but we're going to deviate from that just a bit. We're going to go over some key information. And first, you'll hear from our superintendent, Dr. Morseys J. Beasley, who will talk about the Federal Aviation Administration, aviation information, and the airport takeover. And we do like to recognize our special guest, Representative Rhonda Burno, joining us today. Thank you, and she too may have some updates to share.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Act like I got your finish. It's been a long day, right? Well, thank you all for being here today, and we promise we won't keep you very long. This being the Governmental Relations Advisory, but it will give us an opportunity to share even a meeting we went to, a committee meeting we went to today, and participated in, and will continue to be at the table. So we, again, as Jada shared, we do have an agenda, but I'd like to first start out by sharing that today we went to a meeting at the Capitol relative to the efforts to take over the airport. And so we're pleased to say that Senator Valencia C. is on the committee. So she represented us and allowed all of us to stand. And was it about 17 or 18 of us from Clayton County? Pretty impressive showing. And I have a feeling we'll have just as many or more at the next meeting, which is scheduled for October 3rd at 10 a.m. in room 450. But just so you'll know, the study committee, as it's called, is basically studying whether or not the state would, the proposed legislation to take over the airport and all the ramifications, exactly what that means. Today they had a pretty good conversation about the bond indebtedness that the city of Atlanta has as the owners of the airport, and what are the implications for a state takeover relative to that. I'll tell you this, a lot of information I think was over the heads of many folks, because if you're not really into the bond world, you see a whole bunch of acronyms, and there are different types of bonds. I know it's a lot of money, a lot of debt that clearly somebody would have to pay off in one respect in order for the state or whoever to take over the airport. But Clayton County is at the table, and you should know this, 70% or more of the land at the airport is in Clayton County, and therefore we need to be at the table. So I'm going to pass the mic to our delegation chair, Rhonda Burno, to share her perspective and any information you'd like to share about that meeting on today. We did have a pretty good showing from our ministers as well today at the meeting.
Good afternoon. The purpose of the study committee is that what they want to do is start having authority to take over the airport. And their biggest complaint is all of the litigation, the criminal activity that has gone on because of vendors. And that's what they're using as their reasoning for why they think that they should take over the airport. Because the airport is one elected official, the mayor of Atlanta is the person that's in charge. So to speak, to say the buck stops with her. She hires the person who's going to be in charge of the airport. Everybody that works for the airport is a city employee. And so they came in full force, and I do know most of them pretty well. And so they have ran an effective airport. But the interesting thing was, one of the things they did was the airport and Delta joined together, and they made a pact that if the airport is taken, someone comes to take over the airport, they can't do it unless both Delta and the city agree. And so the senators were a little outdone because it went to like 2,000 138 or something, sometime far, far in the future. And so they thought that, they kind of took it a little personal because they thought they were doing it because of the fact that they have the study committee. But what I've learned down there is there's always a fight between Delta and the representatives and the senators. So it can change at any point. And so also it's just how much money. At the end of the day, it's about money. That's what it is. They see the money. But they won't be able, I don't think that that's something they really want to do because I don't think that the state wants to take on the debt that they would have to take on, nor be in charge of the infrastructure and keeping the airport going. And so the biggest thing now, it gives us a leverage that we can use to negotiate with the city of Atlanta. And I did run into the chair of the president of the Atlanta City Council, and she wants to meet with us because she said that the city council doesn't have an idea of what's going on. So this may really work for us. We're just going to have to make sure that we have all our ducks in order. So we met last week, so we are putting together a white paper for the school district and for the county and cities, so that by the time when it comes for our ask, we'll already be ready, so we'll already know. So that's where we stand right now. The next meeting is going to be about those franchises. And so I will be there, Dr. Beasley and some others will be there, because that's kind of where the rubber meets the road for them, because that's where all of the criminal activity has taken place.
Alleged. Thank you, Ms. Burno. Well, let's give everyone else a chance to introduce themselves. We have enough mic. I see Mayor Day. You know we've got to acknowledge Mayor Jonesboro. The Joy Day. It's good to see Mayor. And you all should know Mayor Day used to be a teacher and a principal in our school system. So we're always glad to see Mayor. Good to see you, Mayor.
Thank you, Dr. Beasley. I'm always glad to come to any school system meeting because it's close to my heart. So I'm interested to give a message today.
Glad to have you. And of course, our PTA representative.
Yes, I am the PTA lady. And I would like to stress to
Sid
everyone
Cox is her name.
that if you have not joined the PTA, please join at several schools. You do not have to have a child at the school. You can join any PTA you want to. And we encourage every school to have a PTA.
Very good. And of course, we got our youth commission, Nicole, here with us. And Nicole, give everybody an update on our youth commissioners so they'll know how all the high schools are represented. Okay.
Well, I'm Nicole Horn, and I'm the administrator for the Office of Youth Services in Clayton County, and the Youth Commission is a part of our office. We currently have 18 students that are in Clayton County schools that are involved in our Youth Commission. And what they do is they represent the students in their schools and around Clayton County, if they're in public school, private school, whatever. As it pertains to youth issues and government issues, they come to our office, they interact with the commissioners so that we can make sure that we're developing programs and developing legislation that benefits the youth of Clayton County. Currently, we received a grant, and thank you to, and they might have to help me, Mondays Mill High School, Elite Scholars, Eddie White Academy, who I missed? At Forest Park High School, they helped us activate 1,000 youth volunteers for the 9/11 holiday, and they wrote 1,000 thank you cards to the servicemen and women, and we will have Operation Gratitude send those letters over to the people serving in Afghanistan and Kuwait. So they're very busy. We're representatives of the Secretary of State's office as well. You should be proud that your students came first in the region last year and second in the state in the Secretary of State's competition. And we're doing it again this year, so we look forward to being first in the state meeting Johns Creek this year.
Excellent. Thank you, Nicole. Excellent.
Good afternoon. I'm Janine Morris. I'm the program coordinator for the Office of Youth Services, Nicole, and the Youth Commission.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you. So we'll be very quick today, but we do want to make sure that you have the opportunity to engage with the staff as we do various parts of the presentation. The first thing we want always as a school system, we've got to have an aspiration, something we're working toward, right? So we wanted to review our vision statement with you, and that's basically to be a high-performing district preparing all of our students to be successful. And today's presentation will give you some idea as to what we're doing to achieve the status of high performance. Our mission is what we have to do every day, and that's to empower our students to prepare or to achieve their academic and personal goals. And that requires a lot. It's easier said than done, but our goal is to help all of our students know what they need to do and provide support toward achieving those goals. The vision and mission have been solidified in our strategic plan, which the board has authorized from July of this year, 2018, until 2023. Our belief statements are there. I won't read them to you, but they basically outline our expectation that our children remain in the core of all of our decisions, our resources, that we create an engaging, communicative environment that keeps our community informed, an environment that is respectful of all of our students, of the adults, etc., one that is safe, one that is orderly, and clearly one that causes student achievement to increase, one that causes always our data to improve. We have 5 goals. The first one is relative to academic achievement. The second one is about being basically a safe and orderly environment. Thirdly, about communication and engagement. And that's why we have these type of opportunities, because we want to hear from you. We want you to hear what we're doing. We want you to weigh in, if you will, share your thoughts, your feedback, and affirm if we're going in the right direction, or give us another perspective that will help inform the decisions that we need to make. Number 4, we want to ensure that we deliver our services to students in a timely manner and within budget. And of course, the last one, that we recruit, develop, and retain competent, very competent staff members. So throughout the presentation today, you'll hear a few things. We won't go through the entire presentation, but for your benefit, it's on the website. If you would go to the main page, and there are a list of links on the side as you go to the main page on your left, go to Critical Conversations. If you hit that link, it takes you straight to this presentation. And all the videos of all the previous meetings, the schedule of all the future meetings, it's there for you. The first thing we did this year is we defined what high performance was. Last year we began with the commitment to high performance theme, and we continue with that model on this year. But we thought we'd define it for everyone. And so I'll give you a second to read the definition of high performance as it relates to our school system. And so as you read it, you'll see that creating a healthy culture would be important, and we believe that it's through that culture that we'll be able to achieve improvements in whatever areas that we're measuring. If it's discipline, we expect to see improvement. If it's attendance, we expect to see improvement. If it's math scores, we expect to see improvement. Reading scores, science scores, social studies, employee morale. Whatever indicators we measure, we expect to do what? Improve. From one period of time to another, or from one measurement to another measurement. And so all of our principals are working on improving every one of the schools. We, at the central office, we are positioned to support our principals as they support teachers to do the most difficult work of teaching and learning, given all the variables that come to play within a classroom. But it's our expectation that we improve. So what I'd like to do is toss it to a few of the staff members, and they're not going to read to you because we don't believe in reading PowerPoints to people. They're going to just speak at a high level of things that we're doing. We're going to start with a strategic plan, and then we'll do teaching and learning. And then what I'd like you to hear, and I want you to hear about SPLOS because that will be important this year. And I want you to hear about what we're doing with student services relative to a few critical issues that we've got to work on relative to the emotional health and well-being of our students. I want you to know that that's an area of focus in our school system. And we, as a community, the school system and all the persons within our county, we're asking for your help to address that. So we'll pitch it over to Dr. Wiley at this time to talk about the strategic plan.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming today and listening to us and hearing about all the great things that we have going on in our district. What you should have in front of you or in your possession is a copy of the strategic improvement plan. This is just an abbreviated version of the plan, and we ask that you go on our website to look at the full version of the document. And Dr. Beasley discussed the mission and the vision and also our goals. But what I would like for you to pay attention to today is at the bottom, the third goal, starting from the left, if you count over to the third goal. It says that we're going to promote active engagement, communication, accountability, and collaboration of all stakeholders. Stakeholders include you. So we would like for you to continue to engage with us, be involved with us, to ensure and keep us on our toes, to make sure that we are doing what we're supposed to do for what's best for our children. If you look at the top, you will see our performance objectives in bold under our mission statement. We decided to focus on our performance objectives because that tells the community exactly what we're going to do, exactly what we believe in. Our beliefs are embedded in here, our goals are embedded in all of our performance objectives. Our action plan will be posted to the website once we update where we are as a district for all of our community members to really look at and to engage in that particular document. But let's see what section. If you go to the first section where it says we will increase the percent of students scoring at proficient and or distinguished, and teaching and learning, we'll go over that a little more in detail. But what I wanted you to look at right now is the third paragraph in that column. We will engage multiple stakeholders. There's our stakeholder conversation again, where we want you to be involved in assisting us with increasing our academic achievement for our students. And with that being said, I think we have teaching and learning next to discuss our data with you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? I am Ebony Lee, the Director of Curriculum Instruction and Assessment, and so I very quickly would like to go over our student performance data, as well as some of the practices that we're implementing to have better student outcomes. So this slide just shows you our goal. In 5 years, we want at minimum 80% of our students meeting or exceeding grade level expectations. I think we all can imagine a community where you have more than 80% of your kids leaving ready for college and career. This is our current reality. About a quarter of our kids possess grade level skills. So as I go through the Georgia milestones data, the advanced placement data, as well as our graduation rate, but specifically performance data, you'll see that trend of about a quarter, but you're also going to notice another trend. We're showing growth, and we expect to see even greater gains. So this slide shows our 3rd through 8th grade performance on the Georgia milestones over the last 4 years. You'll see that we showed gains in English language arts in grades 3, 4, and 5, sustaining in areas as well. In mathematics, we showed growth in 3, 4, and grade 7. But you do notice a gap between our performance and neighboring districts, which is our metro region, as well as the state. And so our goal, again, over the next 5 years is not to meet, but exceed performance for the metro area in the state. Every school has been given 5-year specific goals so that we're on target for meeting that. This is our science and social studies data. You'll see we show gains in grade 8 science and grade 5 and 8 social studies. And the state of Georgia implemented new standards in those areas. And there was some prediction of declines, but you'll see Clayton County, we show growth. The next slide includes our high school performance data. So you'll see on this slide for high school courses, 6 out of 8 courses either show gains or sustain. So again, even though we have more work to do to meet our 80% goal overall, each year we're showing gains. And on the GOSA website, you all, for last year's performance, for elementary, our students are outperforming in terms of growth 83% of schools in Georgia. That was on the Governor's Office of Student Achievement website for our elementary schools. And as you all know, 42 out of 60 of our schools last year beat the odds. So we're excited about the growth. This slide just shows our reading data. On average, about 60% of our kids can read on or above grade level when presented with grade level text. So there's a gap between proficiency, right? It's about a quarter passing the assessment, but over 50% can read on level. So that tells us that we have to continue to work to make sure that the standard and our level of instruction, that it aligns. And so I'll speak more to that. So, and this just shows the high school data. Over 60% of students possess grade level reading skills, at some schools at 90% reading. And I would like to just acknowledge Representative Burno, who partnered with us with the Women of Clayton County recently for one of our strategies called Clayton Reads. So hopefully you've heard about Clayton Reads, and we have events throughout the year. And last week we celebrated our top readers, and so we want to do more of that. Reading is not just about what you do in school. We want to foster that behavior. These results include our advanced placement. So we know students in high school who are enrolled in an AP course, they sit for an exam. The goal is a 3 or higher. Many colleges will accept a 3 as a college credit course or credit for college. And so 5 out of our high schools, out of our 12 or so high schools, showed remarkable gains, and they're highlighted in green. But overall, as a district, we had a 3-point gain. Again, we have work to do with closing the gap between state and international performance, but we are incrementally moving there, and we're hoping to catch momentum and have some double-digit gains, and I think we will. And the graduation rate, okay, so for last year, we're at 69.6, but we have an update, and I don't know if I can share it. So it's in Fargo, so it's above 70%, and I think all of our high schools are predicted to be above 70%. So let's give our high schools a hand, a hard work, part of our strategy. So in general, you all, when I think about the work that we're collectively doing, we're training, we have the right resources, and we have the right strategy. So previously with training, a lot of it was at the teacher level, but Dr. Sims is probably going to speak to you that before teachers receive certain trainings, we're training principals, assistant principals, academic coaches, and then teachers. So now you have a common understanding of what's expected. Resources, we have better tools to assess our students, to really diagnose and pinpoint their area of deficit, but then the resource to address the deficit. So we maximize technology by purchasing some online software programs that allow our students to have personalized learning. And honestly, when you have a teacher in middle and high school and they have 90 kids and they're on different levels, it's hard to hit everyone every day. So our technology resources allow us to address those needs and fill those gaps. The strategies, just to name a few, we clarified about 3 high-impact practices that we should see and hear in every classroom across every school, and that is engaging students in academic discussions. Students have to build their language. They have to build their comfort with language and speaking. Also, high-level questioning, challenging our students' thinking. Every day as adults, we have to question, right? Those are real-life skills. And then finally, evidence-based writing, because in a world of fake news, we need to create discerning citizens. So we're definitely pushing those practices. Also, another strategy is our credit recovery, making sure that our 9th graders who are getting behind, that we're catching them earlier by maximizing our online tools such as Odyssey as well as Georgia Virtual. And then other strategies just include scheduling, making sure we're getting kids in those high-performing classes, not just solely focusing on gifted and honors, quote-unquote, students, but pushing other kids to take gifted and honors and advanced placement classes. And we're starting soon parent meetings with elementary parents to talk about advanced placement. What does that mean for your child? That conversation has to start earlier. So those are just some of the strategies we're implementing, and we just thank you all for your support always and your partnership as we continue to move the needle on performance. Next, I would like to
mention books.
Oh, yes. So this week, is Mr. Walker? Oh, Kevin is here. Mr. Thompson, under his division, we launched an initiative, Books on the Bus, and so our communications department captured it. And so on 2 of our buses that address about 5 schools, and we're starting small, we now have books on the bus, high interest fiction and nonfiction books. And so if you get the advisory, you can click on the link and see images of our students excited about grabbing books and using that time more constructively. And so our goal is to expand it, so you all have funds and any resources to support expansion, we greatly accept it. So definitely, thank you. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sandra Nunez, and I am the Deputy Superintendent for Student Support Services. In Student Support Services, we support the the high performance of our students, ensuring that our principals, assistant principals, we build capacity through our experts that are out there supporting students. And when I talk experts, I'm talking about our counselors, we're talking about our social workers, we're talking about our students, our DS, special education staff, we're talking about nurses, and we're talking about English learners, and they build capacity through working collaboratively and cohesively. How did we do that? We created what we call the circle of support to ensure that that students are ready to learn when they make it to the classroom. And they're looking, cover that data. Cover that data. I'm going to show you the data that resulted from this, from years of supporting students and getting them ready for the classroom. In order for the students to receive all this quality instruction that we're talking about, we have to meet their basic needs. They need to be ready to learn. And everybody understands they need to be healthy, they need to be mentally healthy, and they need to be physically healthy. Otherwise, that doesn't happen. Our group, our circle of support that works in collaboration and with the president, including the principal, assistant principal, they meet. We have created a platform and a protocol where they meet and they discuss the data, our attendance data, our discipline data, and the data that the students, the information that the students are giving us through our students' surveys, our safety surveys. So we look at what is going on in our students' lives, and we try to meet. We use strategies, research-based strategies, to meet the needs of our students. So when they sit down and discuss, they collaborate. It's very important, that collaboration, because we need to connect the dots among those professionals. When they collaborate together, they together meet the needs of our students. So when we look at the data over the years, this didn't happen from last year to this year. It's worked over the years, but what we have observed is that our discipline referrals have decreased. The data that you were seeing on the screen is in relation to discipline referral and our improvement. If you compare the years, what you see over here are the top 10 discipline or behaviors that we want to avoid, right? And what you see at the far column is the ranking from 1 to 10, what happens more often. And what you see there is the comparison in the years 2016, 2017, 2017, 2018. The red numbers are the numbers that we couldn't improve yet last year. But if you see this year, we have all green, which means that we are improving our behavior. So what do we do to improve our behavior in addition to collaboration and effective communication among the adults in the building? The positive behavior intervention and supports is a strategy, okay, that we use in the schools, where everybody in the schools know the expectations of behavior. We always say, we tend to teach content and punish behavior. Okay, we teach content and punish behavior, but we need to teach content and teach behavior. We want to teach the behavior that we want our students to have. And that's what positive behavior intervention and supports do. And our schools, we implement also through the district the multi-tier system of supports. So we have 40 schools that are implementing the positive behavior intervention and supports, and the rest of the schools are still in the multi-tier system of support. The multi-tier system of support is all schools. So expected positive behaviors through the district are there, and it shows. Another area that we are working to improve is attendance. Okay? And so a strategy that we are using, I'm going to show you this, and you can pass one, is showing our students that we miss them. So students that are going to be absent for more than, that they are at risk of being absent for, I wanted them to go back there so we can see them. Back that way for our guests, so they can see them. The students who are at risk of being absent too many times, we want them to know that we care, that we miss them. That is done through our Department of Student Services and the social workers. So the social workers will be distributing these cards to our students it's like a campaign to improve our attendance. I believe that that's what I have we cover the data. Oh, and something that I wanted to share with you is in relation to the work that we're doing with the mental wellness of our students. We are focusing on developing a mental wellness model, and we want to start with a 5K that we're going to have. Dr. Beasley has approved November 3rd to have a 5K to raise awareness of teen violence and suicide prevention. We are paying a lot of attention to those surveys that I just mentioned, student surveys, that tell us that our students, and it's not just in Clayton County, it's a nationwide concern. They have suicide ideation, they have depression, and they let us know through these surveys. And we are focusing, we're looking at the data to reduce those numbers. We need to reduce the number of students that have those thoughts. When I'm hearing about the youth program, you have successful young people working with you, and they need to be role model for those students that are not thinking that way. And a partnership is great. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad we can partner, because we need these activities to be led by children, by our students. Thank you very much.
Next, we'll hear from Mr. Ronnie Joseph.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ronnie Joseph. I'm the Director of Construction, responsible for capital improvements and managing SPLOST dollars. I just want everyone aware that we have a busy year ahead of us. For school year 18-19, we will be performing major renovations and modifications to Jonesboro High School as well as Riverdale High School. Major renovations and modifications to Adamson Middle and North Clayton Middle, as well as renovations to 6 existing elementary schools. We encourage everyone to visit our website. We believe in transparency. There you will see the tabulations, project costs, renderings of future designs, aerial photos, as well as project schedules. SPLOST 5 will expire December of 2019, which we have treated as SPLOST 6. On March 19th, 2019, there will be a vote to renew the existing SPLOST. It'll generate $280 million. The capital projects include a STEM elementary school, a STEM middle school, and a STEM high school, as well as a college and career academy. SPLOST 6 will replace an aging bus fleet, as well as provide a laptop for each and every student. Again, that's my name is Ronnie Joseph. I'm working to answer at the end of the presentation.
Thanks, Ronnie. Well, as you can see, and we just did a quick dash through some of the things that we're doing. I often get the question, what are we doing to improve the district? What program? And I often tell people it's not one program. It's not one initiative. It's a series of actions that work in concert with each other to move a district forward, from training to focusing on teaching and learning, to providing support to students, to maintaining our facilities, to creating the best facilities. All of these things have to occur, and they have to occur clearly at the same time. Relative to SPLOST, as Veronica shared, the vote for the next SPLOST, again, it's a renewal to continue with the 1 penny on every dollar. On March March 19th, while we as the staff in our official capacities cannot tell you or the public how to vote, we can share with the public that if the referendum passes, these things that we're planning will occur. If the referendum fails, these things will not occur. And so the community has to decide what it wants for its children, right? And if they want us to continue with these things, then we'll get a past referendum, thereby money funds in order to continue with the projects. If they choose not to, then we'll just have to keep what we do have and make do with what we have going forward. I do think it's important for you to share feedback, your ideas with us. Again, the PowerPoint is on the website. It has more information, but to streamline it today, we just only pulled out certain parts of it for you to hear from us about. But if you go to the website on the main page, the left link, Critical Conversations, you should go, you hit that link, you'll go straight to the PowerPoint. It has, hopefully you've seen our new promotional video on the school system. That's one of many that will occur. We're going to roll out those promotional videos because we want the community at large, the metro area and the state, and even well beyond the state, honestly. We want people to know about our story and the good work that's occurring in our school system. We often say and we believe that if you don't create and tell your story, people will create their own story about you. And we cannot allow others to create a false narrative about who we are and what we're doing and the success that our children continue to have in our school system. You'll see, you should have heard today, we have yet challenges, we do, but we have many successes. We have two of the high schools on the best U.S. high schools list. We have some of the highest performing schools in the state of Georgia right here in Clayton County. You must know that. You have to know that while we have a gap with in our proficiency rates, we're working, as Dr. Lee shared, to address those gaps, and we believe that we're building momentum, and we'll even see increases in our increases as we continue to implement our strategies that clearly are working. Our principals understand, and the work that we're doing is ensuring that every principal works with their team to move their data in the right direction. We don't want any one school to be a drag, if you will, on the data. If we get every school improving, guess what? The district will do what? Continue to improve. And so we're working. We have a big emphasis on leadership. So at this time, what I'd like to do is sort of open the floor up for you to share any questions that you may have or make comments. Any concerns that you have, feel free. I should state this because it's very important relative to our students. We have a pretty good, robust relationship. I see Judge Dallas here with the court system. And that's just one of many relationships that we should have as a school system to ensure that our students don't fall through the cracks, that we can provide resources and support to all of our students. We do have, and Chief didn't share this time, but we do have some safety and security initiatives that are in play right now. We do have an app, a school district app, that allows students to share anonymously, or if they'd like to submit their names, any concerns that they may have, or even if they have personal issues. They're contemplating or feel like they need to talk to some adult. They can communicate that information. We realize that the nation right now is a little on edge with all the mass shootings, etc. And so we're working as a school system to ensure that we really create a safe culture where if our kids or employees see something, they'll say something. And realizing that we're a very free society and it will probably be free for many years, as we probably all would appreciate. But while it's free, we do have a responsibility, don't we? To ensure that we can do our part for our children to be safe, for our employees to be safe. It's just our belief that everybody who comes to work or school at the beginning of the day should go home at the end of the day, period. And so we're working to ensure we do that. So we'll open up the floor for you to share any questions or comments that you'd like to share.
Dr. Beasley, could you share the information group that you gave in the community conversation
about the technology improvements and providing notebooks?
We will.
Whatever.
Rod, come on and
Use that
share.
information again, because I had a constituent ask me about that, and I said, well, they're going to do that, but I need to try to remember all that information, so.
Rod, our
I
technology
thought it
team.
was really a great idea.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayor Day. I'll be more than happy to send you some information so that you can have it concrete, but it's simply this. For 4 schools in the district, we're going to pilot. We're going to pilot at Brown Elementary, Harper Elementary, Bath Middle School, be 1 middle school, 1 high school, North Clayton. Be the 9th grade, 6th grade, and 3rd grade at each of those levels. And we're providing Chromebooks to those students during this pilot year. In addition to the Chromebooks, if they need access to the internet, we're also trying to provide them internet devices to get them connected to the internet. We're giving them some other options like that is this year. Those 4 schools. As a matter of fact, I was almost ready to walk out of the door, and you asked a question. I did it yesterday, and another question came up. I'm headed to Bath tonight, and this will be the last school for the pilot rollout. So we anticipate about 1,000 devices will be rolled out this year, and each subsequent year, until we get to year 3 or 4, we should have all students, 3rd through 12th grade, will have a personal device to take home with them for their instruction.
So now what Rod didn't say is that gotta have that SPLOST money, right? Okay, so that would be important. Thank you, Rod. So we're putting devices in the hand of all students grades 3 through 12 over the course of the next 3 to 4 years. That's pretty good, isn't it? And our teachers are getting the support and the training that they need to encourage. And I love the part where he said we're providing the internet access for students who may not have internet at the home. And so we thought through that, which is a good thing. So good job, Rob. Mayor, does that answer your question?
Thank you so much.
Very good, very good. Any other questions or comments? Go.
Thank you. Just 2 things, because I was here on Monday, and I heard Chief speak about the gang violence and gang awareness and things like that, workshops and training that's going on. And then Dr. Union, she just addressed the teen violence, I think 5K. So this year, the Youth Commission has also, when we're talking about gang violence and teen violence, that teen dating violence and how we build relationships has become a big issue amongst the teens, not only in Clayton County, but I think just statewide. So last year we had a youth summit, which was kind of hodgepodge, and we kind of covered a lot of areas, but we committed this year with the health department and the help of Aid Atlanta to devote that time in February for teen dating violence and how we're building these relationships. So we think that it's important that we work with all of the high school students and middle school age students. My daughter's in middle school, she likes a different boy every week. So as we're starting to do that, how are we building those relationships and how are we making sure that they're healthy to help combat some of those issues that are going on in school? So I just wanted to make sure that I pass that on. That's a big platform for us this year. Also, when we're addressing that, we're looking at our LGBTQ population and teenagers as well. This summer, Aid Atlanta and the Health Department, we talk a lot about microaggressions and what creates those self-esteem issues and what causes bullying. And we're also working to create safe spaces, and I'll be passing the information on relatively soon within the county for those students that identify with those groups, so that they will have a place to come and kind of talk those things out and how to better deal with those things. So I wanted to add that. And then the second thing is, I hear a lot about squash, and we have the upcoming election coming in November, and I know the governor's race is a tight one. So we are also working very diligently with our elections department to make sure that we're getting those 17 and a half and older students registered to vote. We will be having a big rally Tuesday, 25th, right? 26th, one of those days. And thank you, Mayor Day, for allowing us to use Lee Street Park. And what we always try to do is make it teen friendly and parent friendly. So we'll have a DJ, we'll have games. So parents that want to come register to vote but can't deal with their little kids, the youth commission will play with them the whole time while we get the other ones registered to vote. Because the elections office will stop at 5, but we'll pick up from 6 to 8. So if you could just pass that stuff on. I have noticed some of your high schools are letting youth commissioners post flyers in their schools, and that's helpful, but the people always come to me and say, we have money, and I'll take all their money, but we just need to make sure that we're working with the school system to get the students.
Very good. I'll just say two things, and I want Chief to share. You mentioned the effort relative to teen dating violence. I would suggest you all partner with Chief because the videos we did for the See Something, Say Something app, they were student created and student voice, and I think they're very impactful and students can talk to other students. And so that could be possibly a project, an area that we can do with videos this year, because the goal is to get something that every student can read and see and hear from. And we, since they're all using the email system that we provide, we can push things to their emails. And so I would encourage you all, information, literature, or even video messages to really work with us to see if we can get those to the students with the right messaging. And secondly, relative to the voting, you should know every semester we do a massive voter registration. So everyone, I believe the law says that they're within 6 months of the age of 18, they can be registered to vote. We do that. And then, of course, we have our own, a lot of the social studies departments are taking students on field trips to the elections office so they can understand the importance of voting. And so I'm really confident that our students are getting informed. We can't tell people how to vote, nor do we want to, but at least we're giving them the opportunity to get registered and also informing them as to the importance of them voting, because a lot of decisions that are being made are going to impact their lives for many years. And so we're very pleased that is ongoing in our school system. So Chief will come and maybe share something about the See Something, Say Something app or any other initiatives that may be related to what you shared with COVID.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. As Dr. Beasley mentioned, we do have a See Something, Say Something app, and we encourage our students to use the app to give us any information, whether it's anonymous or if you want to post pictures, regardless of what the subject matter may be, go ahead and send it to us. And something else we did, we recognized last year, one of our initiatives were to minimize the bullying that we were experiencing in the schools, because we saw a high number of encounters where bullying was a primary mechanism used to offend the other person. So we created an anti-bullying video. As a matter of fact, there's a superintendent in the district who's starting the video, but I'll go ahead and go beyond that.
Don't let that video fool you. I don't know how to rap. I did one word at a time, and they put it all together.
Okay, it was a little more in depth than that, but we'll let her have that one. But anyway, we also worked with Clayton County Police Department, who at the time did not know we were doing an anti-bullying video. They've done one. We consolidated the efforts so that we can use both of our messaging, because one has a message from the adults, but we've learned that if it's student-driven, the students get the message a bit more effectively. We're also, as we speak, working on an anti-suicide video, because last year we lost about 22 students, and some of those losses were directly associated with suicide. And there could have been a correlation between maybe relationships and violent relationships, and it could have also been bullying, etc. So we're focusing our attention on that so that we can have a student-driven message to our students to discourage them from suicides. Now, what wasn't on my radar, which I'm glad you mentioned it, was the dating violence situation that we are experiencing. I know that there's a lot of it with adults, but I wasn't sure that we were seeing a lot of it with our students, especially when you're speaking of middle school students. So what I'm willing to do is to collaborate with you, and maybe as a part of the gang seminars that we're going to do, maybe we can change that up a little bit and have gang seminars in conjunction with dating violence and how we can combat that. So I'm going to give you my card, and I'm going to pass out the instructions and the pamphlet that we have for the See Something, Say Something app, so everyone will have it. But I would enjoy collaborating with you so that we can kind of sure that up. Thank you.
There is a program, you talk to Reverend, to Reverend Green, Rose Green, when I was the chair of the Clayton County Marriage and Family, there's a program that's sponsored by Chick-fil-A, and the kids, they come off that Saturday, and there's somebody that trains them, and it's geared towards relationships, positive relationships, and it's a really, really good program. And so that organization has money, and they have a trainer. So if you don't have a number, I'll give it to you. Okay.
Thank you.
Don't mind introducing yourself. Everyone did introductions.
I'm sorry I was late. Good evening. My name is Nakia Price. I am not only a parent here in Clayton County, but I also work for the Office of Smoking and Health at CDC. And one of the things that I was interested in is what collaborations you have with the Public Health Department. This year in Office of Smoking and Health, one of our big priorities is to alert parents and administrators as well as students about the dangers of e-cigarettes, especially those that are shaped like USB devices. We recently have new infographics that are out. They are free. They are printable. Every service that we provide at CDC is free. You all pay federal taxes for this, so we do programming in the community for you, which includes any area of public health, including intimate partner violence. But since my area is smoking and health, that is what I'm interested in. I want to know if the school district has information about these devices, if you guys are all going out, not only in the classroom, but in your homes and on the street. And this is something that also would be picked up as what these children are.
We do have a relationship. As a matter of fact, I sit on the board of directors for the Department of Health. And so as the county is in transition, I believe they're just hiring a new director. And I will be meeting with the interim director in 2 weeks. I'm not aware of, and I've known for meetings, I'm not aware of any emphasis on the topic that you just mentioned coming from our health department, but I will make a note of that to see if that's an area that they have been, I know they've been in transition, dealing with some transitional facility issues. But if that's an area that we can push information out, they know we're very instrumental in pushing out information to the public here in Clayton County, and we'll work with them to that end. Okay?
Fantastic, and I'll have it help anyway.
Very good, very good. What I'd like to do is we're going, Dr. Simpson is over our school leadership and improvement, and I'd like for him to share an event that we're planning for October 17th, I believe it is, to give those who are interested an intimate look at what we do in the school system. You know, oftentimes, even in this setting, we can only share so much, but we wanted to provide an opportunity for you to really spend a day with us, if you will, to see what we do, what we are doing to improve the school system. So Dr. Simpson will share.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dr. Beasley. Good afternoon. So coming up in October, the date that Dr. Beasley mentioned is the Seeing is Believing tour. And we're going to spotlight about 5 to 7 of our schools and centers. And we're gathering a group of individuals, all that sign up, and you'll be able to do so through a link that we'll be sending out. But you have an opportunity to sign up and be a part of this event. And what we want to do ultimately is we want you to see our schools as they are. And we are more than certain that it's going to change your perception of what you've heard or might have heard. Now, I'm certain that many of you already know the great things that's going on. But we want to provide you with a more in-depth view of what's going on in a number of our schools. We want you to see our students and how they interact with our teachers and our administrators. So that when you are, as we anticipate that you are our key communicators as our stakeholders, when you hear something that just doesn't jive or gel right with what you've seen and what you know for a fact, we expect you to provide them with what's really, really going on. So that's, in essence, what it's about. It's the seeing is believing. And we know that this event, this day, once you leave, you'll have an even better perspective and idea as to what's going on and what we're doing in our schools. And you'll be able to obviously share that with others. We're going to do 2 of them, actually one fall semester or this semester, and then we're going to come back and the second semester do another one. Now, that's going to be for others if you can't go twice again. But we want to make sure that those that have an opportunity to see our schools in action as they are to take part in this event. So in essence, that's what it's about. We hope that you sign up for it.
Well, thank you. I think it's important that we help people see what really happens in our schools, what kind of environment we have in our schools, what type of culture exists within our schools, so people don't, oftentimes they'll see one incident of a student or some person who looks like a student on the news, and they'll extrapolate that and come to a conclusion about 55,000 students. And I think it's important for us to note that our students, for the most part, most of our students come to school every day. They behave very well. They're young people, so they can do silly things. And we're responding and we're training others on how to respond, to de-escalate instead of making things worse than what they actually are. We're teaching them every day. But I want, through this opportunity, the community and those who participate to see that we've got some pretty good schools. We've got some pretty good students. We've got some great teachers. And we need to, in our communication with others, we need to advance and share that with people. Our community is clearly poised to be one of the school districts in the metro area that people prefer or choose to go to. We have seen an uptick in the enrollment. We're over 55,000 now. And we're anticipating that the enrollment will continue to go up. I was at a meeting the other day, and someone from a neighboring county south of us shared that the word was going around that parents were leaving that county to come to our county because when they looked close at the data, our schools were doing better. And so all we've got to do is get the word out. The data speaks for itself, and it's out there. We've just got to continue to share our story. And it doesn't mean we don't have challenges. We do, but you've got to believe and you've got to know. That's why we invite you here. You've got to know that you have a competent administration who acknowledges the challenges, who's going deep into the root cause of the challenges and addressing those challenges head on to move our district forward in the right direction. We're transparent, we try to be. We invite your feedback, your opinions, your perceptions, and it doesn't offend us. It really doesn't, because we want to hear so we can use that information to inform our decisions. And we believe that we're going to make the right decision because we're focused on doing what's best for all children. I'm saying 55,000, now I can say 55,000 plus children in Clayton County. So we appreciate you all for being here. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Well, that ends our time together. Thanks everybody for coming, and we'll see you the next time.